Hey guys, welcome to No Filters, Just Freedom, the show for people who are ready to stop shrinking, start rising, and live with unapologetic audacity. My name is Jasmine, I'm a life coach, and I'm here to guide us all through this journey of bold, authentic living.
Welcome all. Today we're going to talk about the courage hangover. There you were, standing in your power, setting your boundary like the emotional mature adult your therapist believes you can be. And now you are sobbing into a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, watching TikToks of baby goats, wondering, why does growth hurt like this? Or there you were, sending that hard but honest text, then you threw your phone across the room like it was on fire. Or, my favorite, you speak your truth or just exist as your full, sensitive self, only to crash like a toddler after a sugar rush. Congrats, you are a part of the Tired Rave Hearts Club. Today, we are discussing why doing the courageous thing often leaves us emotionally sprawled on the floor like a dramatic Victorian heroine. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to recover without mainlighting caffeine or hiding in a blanket for it forever. This isn't a pep talk, guys. This is a permission slip to tremble, to regret, to eat 3 sleeves of Oreos in your pajamas after doing the hard thing. And if you're listening to this while lying in the fetal position post-integrity moment, solidarity, my friend. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's break down why being brave literally drains you. First of all, your nervous system is a drama queen, okay? Setting boundaries or feeling by your feelings equals your body thinks it's fighting a lion, okay? The amount of effort that it takes us to fight against what may be a cultural norm, what we were taught previously, anything like that. The amount of effort, we all know that effort is like running a marathon in molasses, okay? It goes against everything we're feeling. We have, panic and anxiety and everything else in our system, and we're somehow trying to pull away from that. It is so hard, okay? Our nervous system is just like, you're living by feelings, you're feeling by your feelings, and your body is like, I don't know, maybe this is good, maybe this is right, maybe I should be doing it. Okay, now I need to carry on some strength and get going and do all these things. And honestly, it could be something just as basic and simple as saying, hey, no, I'm not free tonight because you're tired and you just want to go to sleep. It could be something just as simple as that, but the amount of energy that it causes is through the roof. Then your drama queen nervous system lets your adrenaline spike, then plummet. We at the 3 p.m. we're wondering why we're crying over this yogurt commercial energy, okay? This is the struggle of, oh, I had this moment, oh, I'm super proud of myself. This is everything that we have been excited about and what we're doing. And then after all of that energy, you're just like, oh God, okay, I don't have anything left. Okay. We all have this moment. We all have this feeling. And actually this feeling shows up in a lot of different areas of our lives in general. Okay. It's kind of like when you get the burst of energy to clean, and that burst of energy got you, and you start doing and you're doing and you've got the room, and then it's over. And for me, it's actually, I can relate to this a lot because I actually have bipolar type 2. I don't know if I've talked about this, if we've done mental health yet, but one of the things that's important is the manic state versus the depressive state. And in the manic state, you're like so productive and your adrenaline is going and everything is moving and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then after that, your body just crashes. It has nothing left to give. It's just empty. And then you're waiting for it to replenish itself. Okay? Your nervous system is just feeling all these feelings and it won't let you just live. Okay? That's a struggle that you can have in why the breakdown literally drains you. Okay? The next reason why a breakdown can have you in your emotional blanket fort is that emotional labor is actual labor, okay? So pretending that you're fine burns 0 calories, but being honest, congrats, you just ran a marathon in your mind, okay? It's so frustrating to know that you could lie and everything could feel great. And you could just be like, no, it's all good. And you don't want to rock the boat and you don't want to have any problems and everything is all hunky-dory. But the moment you try to be an adult, the moment you try to be big and strong and grateful, the moment you try to do something like that, oh, well, then of course, all hell breaks loose. And you're now fighting the good fight and somebody is talking back to you and you're now having to justify your choice and the amount of energy that it takes. The emotional labor that actually turns into legit labor, okay? The heavy lifting of it all. It is so frustrating, okay? So we get it. That's all of a sudden, it's draining my energy there when it wasn't supposed to be. And then finally, you have the sensitive person tax, okay? You're in a world that rewards numbness and the feeling is resistance, okay? Like, everyone's like, oh, if I just don't feel, I don't have to face the consequences. And culture's like, yeah, consequences are stupid. You don't have to deal with that. If I just pretend like it's not there and I'm not too sensitive or I'm not too me or I'm not too overly emotional, then everything is all good and culture doesn't have to look at me and say, you're too much or you're doing all this and maybe it's all in your mind. And then actually feeling something is resistance to that. And anything that causes resistance, anything that goes up against opposition is tiring, is overly emotional, it does feel like a personal tax. It feels like, well, this is what I get for protecting myself. This is, look, if this isn't the consequences of my own actions kind of a vibe. And sometimes that's hard. And sometimes we don't want to face that. Resistance is exhausting. Okay? It is downright exhausting. And sometimes we don't have it in us. That's kind of how that works. And all of these things will drain us to the end of never. And you just don't want to. And then even if you do choose to, what is stopping you from helping you not be a couch potato? Okay? You're so emptied after all that, you just don't have the energy to do anything else. What are you supposed to do about that? Okay? And then all of a sudden, like I said, you find yourself just empty. So here are the 5 stages of integrity fatigue, aka why do I feel like I got hit by a bus of so many feelings, okay? First thing you have is the heroic high, the 30-second window where you feel amazing. Like I said before, the adrenaline rush, like you have all that energy, you have everything that you're supposed to have, okay? Where, look at me, I'm proud of myself, I did the thing, my therapist is proud of me, everybody would be proud, I stood up for what I believed in, I did what I was going to do. Okay. For me, I keep talking about boundaries because for me, that's such a big deal. I'm finally in a place where the thing I've been fighting for, I finally went against everything that I'm used to. I finally went against old habits and I stood up for what I needed. Okay. I advocated for myself. And sometimes that looks as simple as, someone asking, do I have time to help? And me being like, no, because I want to help. I want to give. I want to do more. Sometimes I just need sleep. Sometimes, I'm trying to find a balance between being around my husband and being around my 2-year-old and putting in the work and putting in the effort. And the more that's required in my marriage and being a mom means that's less time for me to do other things and help with extra things from my friends. It doesn't stop me from being a great friend, but anything that's extra, anything that's unnecessary is something that requires me to do more. Okay, anything that's, not in the cards, but doesn't necessarily have to be there. Hey, can you help me move this? Can you hang out with me and just, we want to get lunch just for something random when we could plan to do it. We just were hanging out the other day. Like maybe I don't have time for that, Hey, do you want to get mani-pedis? I would love to get mani-pedis, but unfortunately, I just do not have the time and energy for it. These are the things that can be hard to say no to because you're trying to, for lack of better terms, people please, and you have to stand up for yourself. It's so difficult, but you finally do it and everything is great. So you feel epic. You feel like I'm so proud of myself. Look at what I've done. Being in my 30s, it's like I overcame the thing in my 20s that I struggled with. Look at me now. I feel great, which then leads you to the adrenaline crash. Okay, your body realizes what it has done and it goes into full system shutdown. This is when you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Is everything like I can't believe I just did I make that mistake? Like what did I do? It's like that Mr. Krabs meme where your life is like spinning and you're like, wait. I can't believe what exactly happened? Like, was I outside of my mind? You're having this out of body experience. Like, no way. There's no way I lost my mind and just did what I said I did. And that quickly leads into stage 3 of, wait, did I just ruin everything? Okay, that spiral that happens so quickly after the adrenaline crash, okay? Your brain loves to replay the moment like a bad movie, okay? Newsflash, you're not the villain. You're just not used to being the protagonist in your own life. I'm going to say that again. You are not the villain. You are just not used to being the protagonist in your own life. Okay, you did not ruin anything. Life isn't gonna fall apart. You're not a bad friend. You're not a bad sibling. You're not a bad person. You just needed a moment to, stand your ground, tell the truth. Sometimes, someone asks you a question and you're worried about telling them the truth when they ask, and sometimes you just do it. Sometimes you're brave. Sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna let them know what it is. And then you're like, oh my God, did I just ruin this friendship? Did I just say the thing that was so toxic and so overwhelming, and should I have just kept my mouth shut? Okay, and maybe we wouldn't be in the situation. Maybe they wouldn't have noticed. Maybe, maybe. All of these things that freak you out now because you've realized what you've done, and the fear of why you don't normally say things, the anxiety of it all has shown up in full force, and you don't know what to do. And like I said, it shows up in every area of your life. It's like you're in a meeting at work and you say something or you give your opinion, and then you realize, oh my God, what have I done? Maybe I should have just sat here nodding my head like some sort of bobblehead. And now I'm worried that I'm going to lose my job. What if my boss didn't like what I said? What if, all of these things were going on and these are the consequences of what I'm having? Like, everything is worst case scenario, and your brain is just spiraling. Your brain is just like, look at all these bad things. But guess what? In this moment, your brain is a liar, okay? It's an absolute liar. Stop paying attention to it, all right? It's trying to get you to remember that there's a reason why we have these bad habits. And it makes it that much harder to change those habits, okay? So you're not evil. You're not the villain. You're just not used to standing up for yourself, okay? And then after the spiral, whether we stop ourselves in the middle of the spiral or we've already lost it and we've hit ground zero, you get the weird physical symptoms, Suddenly you're tired in places you didn't know you could be tired, okay? You're just laying there on the couch and you're like, my toes are tired. Shoulder is tired, my body hurts. If I feel like I just pushed a rock up a mountain for like 6 hours, okay? All because I stood up for myself, all because I told the truth, all because I went against, what culture would want. And what literally just happened? What is going on in this piece, okay? That's probably the craziest part of this. Because you don't even know what's happening. You don't even know. You're just laying there overwhelmed, okay? Still trying to figure out if you completely burned your life to the ground. And then everything starts like, why does my face hurt? Why is my eye twitching? Why are all these things happening? And you don't know why, we don't know why, but it just is. And the final stage is, right, all of that is happening because growth is uncomfortable, okay? When you realize that growth is uncomfortable, this is what doing hard things feels like. Then you're like, oh, I just went through the cycle because I just did something that normally I don't do, okay? I just did something that was overwhelming. I went against the grain. I decided I wasn't going to people please. I decided I was going to choose myself for once. I forgot about the consequences. Doesn't mean they're bad consequences. I just forgot they existed. Sometimes you just have to remind yourself that the feeling afterwards is normal, okay? But let's get practical, all right? Because the good news is that This emotional hangover means you actually did something brave. You actually won. You actually did the right thing, okay? But now we have to figure out how to continue doing that choice. So we're going to talk about how to recover from this integrity exhaustion without becoming the permanent couch potato. Because sometimes you could keep making the right choice, but we can't live our life in the woe is me after effect, okay? We have to still keep going. First thing you want to do is treat yourself, okay? You had a hard convo with somebody, get a snack, okay? Get something salty, get something sweet, have a cheat day, whatever it is to be proud of yourself, okay? Whatever it takes to reward yourself, do that, okay? If you want to eat that pint of ice cream and you're not sad or depressed, go ahead and do it, okay? If you set a boundary, just take a nap. You've earned it, fighter, okay? You have earned the right to treat yourself because you did something that may or may not have been hard for you, but you did it. You stood up and you did it, okay? And then you could do something as basic as shower, like you are washing off the drama, okay? You've been through that, you've done all these things, and you go, you know what? I wash my hands of this, and now I'm gonna be a whole new creation. And bonus points if you sing your way through that shower. Okay, you are officially telling yourself, I have done what I needed to do. I fought the good fight. I don't want to do this anymore. Look at me. I'm proud of myself. Okay, you could also walk in empowerment. Okay, walk through the house declaring, I regret nothing, while wearing pants you definitely slept in. Okay, love yourself. Encourage yourself. Be the best version of yourself. Okay. You deserved it. You earned it. You have everything you need. And if you just have to walk around and tell yourself until you believe it, you tell yourself even when nobody else hears you or believes it, that's what you gotta do. Okay? And there is nothing wrong about it. The next step is the 24-hour do not disturb. Okay, no sending emotional text messages, no reading emails, no taking back boundaries. Your brain is a liar. Ignore it and go pet a dog or something. Okay, go take a walk. Do anything. You are removing yourself from the very situations that create the anxiety that cause the spiral. You know what? I made the choice. I'm washing my hands of this for 24 hours. Okay, I'm not going to fret about it. I'm not going to worry about the response of that text message. I'm not going to undo it. I'm not going to do any of that. Okay, I'm not going to freak out about all of these things that I could be freaking about. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And now I'm walking away. It seems crazy and it hurts the first time you do it, but it is super, super empowering. It is beautiful. Okay, and lastly, you want to reframe the crash. Okay, you're going to rename the thing. Okay, I am not dying. I am not lazy. I am recovering from being a badass. Okay, I am in full recovery mode because I was epic. Okay, and when you're epic, you need a recharge. Okay, I can't just be Superman all the time. Even Batman had to take a break. Sometimes I just need a recharge from being great. You wish you could be as great as me. And in order to be as great as me, you're going to have to recharge. Okay? You think to yourself, this isn't fatigue. It's my body processing growth. Sometimes it takes a minute. Think about a computer processor, okay? You can make something happen, but sometimes your computer just has to pause for a minute and work itself out. Think about when you ask ChatGPT a question. Sometimes it takes it a quick moment to process what happened and then spit it back out to you, okay? That's what you're doing. You are stepping back and your body is trying to process what happened so that it knows what to do in the future, okay? Tell yourself that. This isn't fatigue. This isn't overwhelming. This is look at my body, learning. And you tell yourself that exhaustion is not weakness. It's my soul's muscle soreness. Okay, I leveled up today. My soul took a workout and I have to keep working out and it's cool. But like every good workout, you hurt and sometimes day 2 hurts worse. Okay, but the more you use that muscle, the less it hurts. Okay, so it's not weakness. I just did an amazing thing. I am proud of myself. Again, walk around the house like I regret nothing. Okay, The crash is transformative. You're not breaking, you're rebooting. And if all else fails, watch Legally Blonde and remember Elle Woods changed the world in pink heels, okay? If she can do it, so am I. But the truth is, sometimes the fallout is reckless. Sometimes the fallout is real. The person reacts badly, the boundary needs reinforcing, the brave thing requires more brave things, okay? Now all of a sudden you're too difficult for having needs. You have to stand up and keep repeating the event, and anxiety whispers to you, this is why I'm a people pleaser. All of these things can happen. All of these things are possible results of what's happening in the situation, okay? But this is where we have to separate courage from magical thinking. Being brave doesn't guarantee a happy ending. It guarantees you'll stop betraying yourself. All right? Say it one more time. Being brave doesn't guarantee a happy ending. It guarantees you'll stop betraying yourself. Everything can't always be all of a sudden beauty and roses and happiness and sugar and spice and everything nice and all of that stuff. That's not how life works. Okay? Sometimes it's hard. You cannot do things based on whether or not you're going to be happy. You'll never do anything in this life. But sometimes you still have to protect yourself. Sometimes you're playing the long game. Okay? And what you're learning how to do is love yourself. Stop betraying yourself. Protect yourself. Okay? These are the things we're fighting for. These are the things we want to handle. These are the things that are most important to us. And when we do these things, we can celebrate the real us coming through. We can honor ourselves and love ourselves, and the next thing you no longer feel like your real self is second best. You no longer feel like, I don't remember the last time I picked me, and I don't know what that looks like. Okay? You're overcoming that problem. You're overcoming the people pleasing. You're overcoming the fear of having to repeat the brave thing. Well, if I set this boundary or I do these things, then this is what's going to happen next. If I have to tell somebody this is what's happening, then they're going to ask for more. If I tell someone the truth and they want more answers, or then they get mad at me, now I have to double down on what I said or maybe justify what I said. It doesn't matter. Okay? It's not about being happy. It's about loving yourself the way you deserve, okay? So recap, doing the brave thing will wear you out, but that's how you know it mattered. Here's the truth. If doing the right thing didn't cost anything, everyone would be doing it. It's just that simple. If life was easy, everybody would be doing it. But sometimes it's hard, and we don't like doing hard things, okay? But exhaustion is the proof that you paid the price. You're not failing, you're recharging, okay? If it wasn't hard, then it didn't matter, okay? If it didn't require energy and you weren't questioning your life choices, you didn't do it right. You haven't protected yourself enough yet. You haven't loved yourself enough yet. And that's okay, because you're going to keep learning and your muscles are going to get stronger. Your loving yourself is going to get better and easier. So what's your homework this week? Next time you crash and have the end all be all post courage, celebrate it this time. Love it this time. Honor it this time. Eat the salty snack. Take a nap. Whisper, this is the cost of my freedom, but I'd pay it again. Okay? You encourage yourself by I would do it again in a heartbeat, because this is what it means to love yourself. So tag somebody who needs to hear exhaustion is proof of your integrity, or share your own crash story with me on Instagram at breathe_easy_coaching, or on TikTok at lifecoach_Jasmine, #exhaustion of integrity. Okay? Until next time, stay brave, take that nap, and for God's sake, stop apologizing for taking up space in your own life.
Remember, you don't need permission to be great, and this is your call to rise, to reclaim your power, and to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. I believe extraordinary potential lives in all of us, the dreams we've tucked away, the voice that was softened, and the fire that's been waiting to burn bright. This journey isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about shattering expectations and embracing your truest, most unapologetic self. No more shrinking or waiting for permission. The world needs your brilliance, your resilience, and your unique light. It's time to stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. Your next chapter begins now. Let's write it with courage, audacity, and unshakable belief in who you are. The unstoppable person isn't born, they're awakened. And that person is you. Now go start your revolution. This world needs your unshaken light today.